Hello, Bravehearts. I'm here with Eric Heinzelman, and we are going to talk about freedom and health today. How to earn our way in history from where we are now, which is insanity, as you all know, right? You're on Braveheart Nation. You already hear Dr. Wolf. You already know what's going on. So, what we've been focused on now for the last 20 years is how do we fix it, right? Do we count on the government to fix it for us? Well, how has that worked out so far? No, we don't. It's up to us, right? Which, by the way, is much more empowering than assuming that somebody else is going to fix our problems or somebody else is going to experience our dark night of transformation and healing, because that's not how it works. It only works when we as individuals, when you and I step up and say, no more BS. We are now going to earn and claim our place in history. We're going to claim our freedom. We are going to make decisions that lead to our own health and self-reliance. We're going to support ourselves, our families, and we're going to use the surplus to support our communities. So, Eric, last time you were sharing your story with us, and I think your story is so profound, and a lot of people have had similar things happen. Can you share your story?
So I was a chef for 28 years, opened 37 restaurants, did that for the last 18 years of my chefing career. I woke up one day and I couldn't breathe. So I called 911. They took me to the hospital. I was in for 51 days. I don't remember the first 3 days at all. When I got there, I was in congestive heart failure, kidney failure, liver failure, and I was just shy of 300 pounds. They put me on 24-hour-a-day dialysis for a week and a half or 2 weeks. I was on dialysis for another 5.5 months or so after that. Ended up having an open heart surgery to have a valve replaced in my heart. When I got out of the hospital, I was still on dialysis 4 days a week, and I was told I'd be on it for the rest of my life. So I decided I had to change my lifestyle. So I changed the way I eat. I changed my work. I was told by my doctor that I'm not allowed to go back and work in restaurants just because of the stress and the amount of hours and everything else. So I decided that if I couldn't cook food professionally anymore, I'd start growing it. I met Jim about 6 or 8 months after I got out of the hospital. And what we're going to make for you today was the first thing that I ever cooked for Jim. When I came down here the first time with my brother, Jim was like, I've got these pumpkins everywhere, and I have no idea what to do with them. So we just compost them into the ground.
Yeah, we just let them go back right into Mother Nature, which, by the way, isn't a bad thing, but it's way better to eat them once Eric gets his hands on them.
So I was like, well, why don't we just cook them up? Like, I don't know how to do that. So what we're going to make today is super simple. It's a pumpkin hash with a poblano pepper, a little bit of honey, a little salt and pepper. It's absolutely delicious and very quick and easy to make. A couple ingredients. We're going to do that with scrambled eggs. So if you're diabetic or on a low carb diet and can't have potatoes to make your hash browns, you can use pumpkin, you can use squash. There's all kinds of alternatives that are much lower in carbs than your potatoes and those real starchy vegetables. So that's what we're going to do here today.
That's amazing. And this is called the Seminole pumpkin, right? So I'm pretty sure that this is a Florida native, or at least, right? And these were growing all over. Like, it's so easy to grow these. In fact, they'll even self-seed in some cases. So we spread some seeds around, and we had hundreds of these things laying on the ground. I'm like, I wonder what to do with those things. Anyway, this weighs probably 3 pounds. Right? That's a lot of food in there. And man, when I tasted it, I was shocked. Like, where has this been all my life? Like, look at how simple these ingredients are. Sweet potatoes that I just had to throw in because they're growing all over. We get eggs from the chickens, seminal pumpkins, and you grew this on your deck. All right. And then honey from the beehives. And yeah, so let's get to it, buddy.
All right. So first thing we're gonna do is wash our pumpkin off a little bit.
Oh, you know what? I do want to show them what you showed me earlier. Okay, underneath this cutting board is this that thing.
It's a cookie mat.
It's a cookie mat. And so last time we were here, the cutting board was sliding all around. And now he said he brought the cookie mat, and now look at that. The cutting board isn't sliding. So talk about practical tips. This is what Eric is a master at, simplicity, helping it be easy.
Yes. So we're just gonna cut the bottom off. Kind of work the way around. Then we're gonna cut the top off.
How long will these seminal pumpkins, if you pick them at the right time, how long will they store? You know?
So any pumpkin or squash or gourd, you can keep up to a year. My mom takes pumpkins like every Halloween, and she doesn't carve them, she just paints them. So she'll paint it for Halloween, then she'll scrub the paint off of it and paint it for Christmas, and then she'll paint it for New Year's, and then she'll paint it and she usually keeps them for 6, 8 months.
Wow.
But yeah, they keep for an extremely long time.
That's amazing. So now you have a few of these vines in your neighborhood or in your yard or at a local park or wherever. And now you've got an amazing food supply. Right? That's what our main purpose here is, to inspire and empower you to grow food, because mass adoption of doing the most logical thing we could do, and that's use our land wisely. Right? The amount of energy that it took to grow these pumpkins, well, we didn't have to participate in that. Nature or God did all that. What we did is we bought a packet of seeds originally, or they were given to us actually, and we threw them all over the ground. Right? And then 6 to 8 months later, we've got a massive amount of pumpkins that can literally feed us forevermore because each pumpkin has seeds in it. Right? So please contemplate how logical and simple that is. Right? And then if you're saying, I don't have the time, the space, that's all belief systems. Yes, you do. This is a time asset. Right? How much money do you make? If you make millions of dollars and you've got a few maids and a few cooks or whatever, then maybe it's not. Right? But for most of us, growing food actually saves you time. Because now, instead of going to a job and making money and then going to the store and spending that money at the store, you buy a few packets of seeds and you walk outside your backyard and you don't have to make the money anymore. You simply have the asset all around you.
All right, so all we did there is just peel the outside skin off, and then we're just gonna cut it in half. So, and then we're gonna take a spoon, we're gonna scoop out all these seeds.
Those seeds, talk about saving the seeds. Each one of these seeds has the blueprint for more exponentially. So one of my favorite concepts came in an ancient Chinese proverb. You can count the seeds in a pumpkin, but you cannot count the pumpkins in a single seed.
Gonna scrape all this into a bowl. And then with these seeds, you can just take and sort them all out from the kind of stuff that grows around them and put them on a pan and just let them sit on your counter or out on your porch and dry them. Or you can take and toss them with a little bit of oil and salt and roast them in the oven at like 350 for probably 5-8 minutes is all it would take. So then you have your clean pumpkin.
So now you told me yesterday that once you dry out these seeds, it's best if you take and cut a little thing off the end of it, right?
So the seed looks kind of like a raindrop, and you'll see where it comes to a point.
Yeah.
So all you're gonna do is cut off that very tip of that point.
Yeah, it's a little bit far away from the camera, but
Not even that.
not even that much.
Very tip.
Okay, the very tip. Because otherwise I'm getting into the seed stuff, right?
Right, that's all you gotta cut off.
Okay.
So all you're doing is opening up that hard outer shell
Yep.
so that moisture and all those nutrients can get in there, and it just makes the actual process of it starting to grow a lot faster.
Yep. Awesome. Water can get to the seed itself, right? This is like a protector around the seed, and inside is the thing that actually the seed. For.
All right.
And by the way, we did the roasting thing last week with, like you said, a little oil and a little salt, and it was so good. These things are delicious. And in fact, I was just watching the Dr. Wolf special with that amazing doctor, the B17 doctor, John. And I don't know if these seeds have B17, but I'm sure that these seeds are loaded with good stuff, right? In fact, if somebody could look that up and put that in the comments, right? What kind of medicinal properties do pumpkin seeds have? And then put that in the comments, please. Because every time I do this, every time I ask, what kind of medicinal qualities does X, Y, or Z plant have? I'm absolutely shocked at the list of medicinal qualities. So when Hippocrates said, let thy food be thy medicine, let thy medicine be thy food. Well, that's why we all know his name right now.
So all we're gonna do with this, if you have a food processor that's got a grading attachment, you can throw it through that. I just have a little box grater here. So I'm just gonna cut this into like 3 manageable pieces. And grab our box grater. And we're just gonna throw it through the box grater on the biggest shredding section that you have.
Okay?
So obviously, if you have a food processor, this will take all of about a minute to do the whole pumpkin.
But then you don't get the workout.
Yeah.
It's called stacking function. It's a permaculture term when you take one thing and you turn and you create more functions around that one thing. Like for me, gardening is not about growing food only. In fact, that's one piece of it. Gardening for me is about meditation. It's about exercise. It's about connection. It's about learning. It's the ultimate healing modality, right? Barefoot on the ground, you're grounding, you're releasing those EMFs, those energetic chemicals, toxins that are in our body. And it solves all of it, right? People ask, why do I garden? There's no reason not to, except for just lack of awareness, ignorance, and evil.
All right. So once we get these down ready here. So I'm not going to shred it all the way down just because I don't want to shred my knuckles.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
So that's not even half a pumpkin.
Wow.
And you get all of that.
That looks amazing. Can I get a bigger bowl?
Sure.
All right.
So we'll just take this, rub it in there,
Yummy.
and then we'll do this last piece here. And then we're gonna use probably half of that poblano pepper.
Yeah, that was basically less than 1/3 of a pumpkin gives you a full bowl of good stuff.
Yep.
So I'm aware of what's going on. I'm aware that a lot of people are pissed, they're frustrated, they're scared. The first thing to do, the first most important by far thing to do on your path to freedom is to get connected with who you are at the core level, which is through presence, right? Feel your body vibrate, feel the frequency and energy in your body. And by the way, eating these types of foods helps you feel it because it takes the toxins out that are meant to mask symptoms, right? You know about that. You know what Big Pharma does. They don't solve any problems. They create problems and they mask symptoms, which then, of course, you can't mask the symptom. It'll just keep getting worse and worse and worse, as Eric has experienced.
Yes.
So the alcohol didn't work to help your symptoms?
No,
Well, the symptoms maybe just not the core.
it didn't, it helped in the immediate,
Yeah.
but not for the long term.
Yeah.
It made it so I could sleep, and that was about it.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna take a poblano pepper, just cut it in half. And we're just gonna grab a hold of this little seed pod and pop this out. Knock the seeds into our hand, we'll put that right there.
Cool. More seeds.
And then we'll just dry those the exact same way. So we're only gonna use, just gonna cut this into strips. You don't have to be exact with it because we're gonna dice them up anyway.
You say that a lot. You say you don't have to be exact. In other words, cooking's easier than a lot of people think.
Yeah, everyone tries to make, well, it's all gonna be the same size, so it cooks at the same time. Yeah, in a perfect world, and if you're gonna go and be a chef on TV, absolutely. If you're cooking for your friends and family, they're not gonna care. So. I mean, you want them close, they don't have to be exact.
Yeah. Do your best and don't worry about it. The other thing about this is to have fun in the process. Like, that's the whole point. That's like one of the most fundamental points. Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. Truer words have never been spoken. Follow your bliss. Follow what brings you joy. And there's something so powerful in that. And when you don't, well, when you effort and struggle and push through things, you know, that might work for a little bit in certain ways, but for the most part, that's not the life you want to live.
Yeah, so that is literally all of our prep. We're gonna put some spinach. We've got some longevity spinach here. So with longevity spinach or any spinach really, if you get the big leaves that tend to be a little bit tougher and they have that stringy thing that gets caught in your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a leaf, if you take the top of it and fold those two sides together, and then just bend the stem backwards, it'll pop. Don't tear it off, just let it pop. Once it pops, pull on it, and it'll pull that string that gets caught in your teeth right out.
That's awesome.
So these aren't very big leaves, so we're not gonna do that with all of them. What we're gonna do is pull these off of here, and we're just gonna slice them up.
Awesome. And this is longevity spinach, which we have living salad bars all over the property where so many different leaves are edible. if you look up the healing benefits of longevity spinach, you might be surprised as well. And it's basically a perennial. So anytime we want now, we can walk outside and pick a really awesome living salad.
So we're gonna put these in a scrambled egg, just so you get better kind of coverage. I cut them up. You can cook them whole, just like they were. But for this application, we want them a little bit smaller. They cook a little quicker.
And then right outside my door here is the compost. So I'm gonna throw all this.
Yep, you can take all of
All right.
that.
We have a little garden right outside the back door, which I'll show you in a future video here in the near future. All right, take it away.
All right. So for our hash and our scrambled eggs, that is all the prep. So now we're gonna heat up a pan and we're gonna start with our pumpkin. Let's get it hot real quick. I just want to check these potatoes. Yeah. So those are good.
Those are the, okay, so I'm gonna turn that on. So, yeah. So earlier, so real quick, I chopped up a few of these sweet potatoes, which are laying everywhere. This is going to be, I think, one of the most important foods to help the disastrous food supply chain collapse that's started happening a long time ago. And a lot of people aren't recognizing that the reason people are sick is because the food is poisoned by design. It's part of the war strategy. So right here, sweet potatoes, and things that grow very easily, roots and tubers, they can avoid different frosts and they're very hardy. And anyway, so I picked some of those up and I just, this is the first time I've ever done this, but I put these in some water at a low kind of a simmer. And 10, 15 minutes later, I have incredible sweet potatoes ready to mash, I think.
Yep, you can mash them. You can actually take them, strain them out.
You say them out now?
Oh, you're okay.
Okay.
When you strain them out, you can actually keep that liquid.
Yeah.
And all the sugar from the sweet potato and releases into that liquid, and then you can cook it down and make it into a sweet potato syrup.
Whoa.
But you can mash those, you can take them, cool them down, kind of dice them up and put them into a salad. There's all kinds of stuff.
Sweet. Now, did you hear that? If I take that liquid that came out of there and reduce it, I can turn that into a sweet potato syrup. I'm just saying that again because it's mind blowing how much abundance the land has that I have no idea about still. And of course, hopefully you're learning some stuff too. And if you're a teacher in this, now is your time, right? Start teaching your friends and your family what the land provides. That's what we need more of in our world. I lived in Costa Rica for 11 years. And the average grandma in Costa Rica knows more about how to heal and how to tender the land and how to be self-reliant than any professional in the doctor's offices or any of those places, right? They know if you're bleeding, there's a certain plant you put on, boom, it stops the blood flow. If you got a headache, there's a certain thing that you can do. There's a solution to all of it. If you know these solutions, if you're an herbalist or if you're a plant medicine person, if you know how to cook, start sharing that knowledge with people. It's so important that we do this right now, my friends. The one thing that I'm aware of that brings me pause once in a while is the timing of things, as we can see the escalation of the wars. So don't start tomorrow, right? Start today, but not out of fear, right? Out of awareness and out of the joy of sharing the information.
Okay, so let's been on here for a minute or so. We're just gonna take this poblano pepper.
8. Oh my God, that was very.
So poblano peppers aren't necessarily hot peppers, but they have good flavors. Good flavor. Give it a sauce.
Oh, yeah, they do. They have a sweetness to them, a crunchiness to them, and there's almost no heat at all. It's just a,
For some reason, people get scared of them because they're dark.
yeah,
They,
they look scary, but not at all.
they kind of have the shape of giant jalapeno.
Yep.
They're great. You can just take and cut the cap off
Mm-hmm.
and leave them whole and stuff them.
Mm.
Get into that as well.
But we'll be doing that on a future show. All right, so I'm gonna grab some of these seeds, put those in there. So now I noticed you put the peppers on after, a minute after, that's just
Right, just so they don't, if you cook them too long in this application, they'll almost disintegrate. So we're just gonna cook them long enough, for them to release some of that flavor into the sweet potato and to soften up a little bit. But this whole process doesn't take very long. So let's get some scrambled eggs going.
all right.
So we're gonna do about medium heat. Get the pan hot. Not smoking hot, but just warm to the touch. And throw your oil in.
So warm the pan up, and then, so you want to warm, then throw your oil in.
Yep, and we're gonna put the eggs in before the pan gets hot.
Okay.
There's some people will disagree. But we're not trying to brown the eggs. And when you're doing scrambled eggs, you also don't have to pre-scramble your eggs.
Oh, so yeah, so when you're doing scrambled eggs, just in case you can't hear, we're getting microphones, by the way. Long story, but this is our second show, and we're going to continue to get better quality so that we can make sure that you hear everything going on. But he said you don't have to scramble them before you get them on there.
Yeah, you don't have to pre-scramble your eggs. You'll see people scramble their eggs and add milk or water or all that kind of stuff. Don't be. Just, if you want eggs, okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. So these eggs are just starting to cook. They're just starting to, the whites of them are just starting to cook.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna move around, stir them up a little bit.
And by the way, if you have ideas too about this show, we're just getting started. And we are committed to long term on this. So if you have ideas that you want us to focus on, or that you want to see or learn about, ask us. That's what we're here to do. We're here to share the information. We have no NDAs or non-competes. We have no patents on anything. Everything is open source. And our goal, the whole point, is to inspire and empower you to share the information, because again, there's only one way that we get to a world of radical abundance, and that's when we work together, share information, and help each other.
So these eggs are about halfway done already. So we're just gonna add in the longevity spinach and just a little bit of salt and pepper. You don't want to salt your eggs before they cook. It kind of breaks down the protein.
Wow. Oh, I just learned you don't want to salt your eggs before they cook, okay? So I put the longevity in?
I did already.
Oh, you did already, okay.
So we're gonna give these a stir. We'll grab a plate.
Yep. All right. So how long does this whole thing take? Like, that's amazing. Yeah, 15 minutes, and we got an epic gourmet type meal.
So scrambled eggs and longevity spinach.
Like it?
Well, if you want your hash browns brown and crunchy, add a little bit of butter to them. And turn the temperature down and cook them a little slower. So there you go.
Oh my God. All right, you guys, look at that meal right there. Look at it, Steven. Isn't that cool? So it's all from the land, except for the salt. And what else?
Salt, pepper, that's it.
Yeah.
I use a little bit of avocado oil. We have avocado here, so I'll send the oil as soon as they come in to season.
Yeah. That's so nice. So now, just like that.
All set.
Oh my God. Oh my God, it's delicious. Oh, you guys, what is the value of this meal in terms of freedom and health? It's incredible.
Tough one to beat.
Oh my God, that's insane. And you said you had honey too? You were thinking of,
Oh yeah, I do have honey. You can drizzle honey over that hash. Honey, give you a shot of that. Doesn't take much, just a little drizzle.
Oh God.
It kind of brings out the earthy tones of that pumpkin.
Oh, it's incredible, man. That little tiny drizzle of honey on there, it really popped a lot of flavors. My friend, seriously, how easy was that? Right? I love how you make it simple.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing from my experience in cooking, the more difficult you make it, the less likely people are to try to repeat it.
Yeah.
So if you can keep the number of ingredients to a minimum, the cook time to a minimum, and the other thing is, we use 2 pans. So all you have to clean is 2 pans and a plate.
Yeah.
We'll do some other things in the future where I'll do entire meals in one pot. So like in an air fryer, we'll cook the entire meal in 25 minutes in an air fryer. So the only thing you have to do is put your air fryer, wash it out, and you're done.
Simplicity, self-reliance made easy. I mean, it's really quite mind-boggling that we've come so far from this. We think it's a time saver to go to some fast food place or some restaurant and order food, especially the fast food places. I mean, we think that it's a time saver. It's not. It's a time liability because it will literally steal time from your life, for one. And the other part is this is joyful, the whole process.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as time consuming. A lot of people are scared of kitchens and cooking. It's only as hard as you make it. If you try and keep it as simple as possible, and even when it comes to growing things, grow things you like to eat. If you don't like the poblano peppers, you can use, if you like it spicy, you can use a jalapeno or something a little spicy. If you don't like any spice at all, you're just going to use a bell pepper because you grow bell peppers and use bell pepper. So it's as simple as you want to make it.
Yeah. If you want a little cheese on top of your eggs, put some cheese on top. Right? And again, and next week, we're going to do this. I just talked to Dr. Wolf's team, Rafa. By the way, I spent some time of 4 or 5 days at the Wolf Studios, the Braveheart Nation Studios in Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo. And the team is amazing. They're such amazing people. They're dedicated to this. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, next week, we're going to go out into the field and we're going to take some short video clips of us harvesting the food. to show you how easy that is. And then Rafa and the team are gonna put those together as our opener, and then we're gonna cook something else right from the land.
Yep, every week, right from the land.
Oh, yeah, and since we're here, in fact, what do you want to show that?
Yeah, so, I also have E&B Mushroom Company. We do gourmet mushrooms and mushroom supplements. This is our lion's mane powder. It is made from 100% pure lion's mane. It's only made from the fruiting body of the mushroom. It's not made from mycelium. It has nothing else added to it. For us to make this pouch, takes over a pound of mushrooms. We also do reishi capsules. We will be doing lion's mane capsules and a blended capsule of reishi and lion's mane. Eventually down the road, once we have a little bit more room. But you can find us at E&B Mushroom Co. or our website is florida-mushrooms.com.
Yep. And you share with me, this is brain food, and I've been consuming this every day now for months. And this is body food.
Correct. So the lion's mane helps with brain fog, memory. It helps stave off Alzheimer's and dementia. It's good for anxiety, depression. If you have neuropathy, it helps kind of regenerate those nerve endings wherever you have that. And then the reishi is good for like muscle fatigue. It's good for your organs. It's good for muscle recovery as a whole. And it's a great energy boost. So, quick story. My mom, who is older than me, obviously, used to take naps every afternoon. And she started taking the reishi capsules every morning, and now she doesn't take a nap at all. She's got energy all day.
And I can attest to this stuff. I just ran out this morning. I said, Eric, I need some more powder. And so anyway, I'm getting some bags from him today. I love this stuff. And I've studied it enough to know that there's a lot of science backing this, and that's the real science, right? And there's also a lot of people who are trying to control this. In fact, I just learned that the government is massively involved in certain types of mushroom harvesting and production.
Yeah, so a lot of your commercial mushrooms are somehow connected to our government, whether it's button mushrooms. That's probably the biggest one. And the biggest state that produces those is Pennsylvania. And a lot of them are produced by the state prison system. So they use their prisoners as labor. Therefore, you cannot compete in that market. It cuts everyone out.
Because they have basically free labor. And so think about this. Every time the government intervenes and gets involved, they create an imbalance in the system, right? So it's up to us. This is the core message that I'm always sharing. It's up to us to build the new model that makes that model obsolete. So Bravehearts, thank you for your attention today. Thank you for being part of the change that you want to see in the world. Eric, thank you for all the great work you're doing. All right, if you want some of this stuff, get a hold of us. In the not too distant future, all of these are going to also be on the Braveheart Nation app and Shopify and everything, which a lot of things are coming together. And by the way, folks, I know a lot of people, again, are living with a little bit of fear, anxiety, and concern regarding all the war and all the bombs and all the poisons and all the manipulation and deception. Let it go. Let it go and let God, right? Let it go and focus on your presence and then your intentions. What do you want in life? When you focus on that and feel the energy that you already have it, boom, it will happen. So, ciao for now, everybody. I'm going to finish my lunch. Thanks. And, you know, I'll do one more thing. I'll just show you around real quick. The, might cut out a little bit. Just because the signal here is not the greatest, but, so this is our backyard. It's a construction zone. We literally just got in the house 6 weeks ago, and we didn't even have doors for our bathrooms for the first 5 weeks. So I just put another row. You see that row of mulch where those pumpkin shells are spread? So I put another row there and seeded that over the last couple of days. And this was started about a year and a half ago. We put about 30 different types of food producing plants in the ground here. Another row here. We're going to do another row here. Then we're going to do a colloidal silver pool here. We're on a really unique location with a private lake. And if you want to come visit, then check us out at galtslanding.farm. It's GALTS landing.farm. If you'd like to contribute in any way whatsoever, then get a hold of me, because we are crazy enough to believe that we can change the world, because it's the people who are crazy enough to believe that actually do change the world. And Dr. Wolf and all of the other people that are speaking out right now, well, it's time, and we're coming together, and with your help, we're winning. Know thyself, know thy enemy, 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. Ciao for now.